Welcome to the deep dive. We've got something today that speaks to a universal struggle, especially if you've ever been a student or maybe you know one now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forget that image of the straight A student, buried under books, no sleep, no life. What if the secret isn't studying harder? What if it's studying, well, smarter?
That's exactly the core idea we're diving into today. It comes from Cal Newport's really practical book, How to Become a Straight A Student.
Mm.
It's all about uh, these unconventional strategies real students use.
Right, scoring high but actually studying less. And Cal Newport, he's the author of Deep Work, right? PhD from MIT, professor at Georgetown. So he knows his stuff.
He does. But what's key for this book is that he didn't just theorize. He actually went out and interviewed top students, the real deal achievers, Phi Beta Kappas, from places like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Dartmouth.
Wow, the really tough schools.
Exactly. And he wasn't looking for the ones who just locked themselves away, the grinders.
No social life, basically.
Right. He sought out the students getting top grades while still having social lives, getting sleep, doing other things. The secret, they were just incredibly efficient and effective.
So our mission today is to unpack those tactics, the surprising ones, the real-world ones that actually cut through the stress and the wasted time.
Okay, so let's get into it. The fundamental idea here, the principle these students live by, is efficiency. It's kind of the opposite of what most students do, that sort of brute force method.
Just throwing more hours at it, hoping something sticks. I think we've all been there.
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
But Newport boils it down to a really simple formula.
Yeah.
The work you get done equals the time you spend times the intensity of your focus.
Work, it's time X intensity. Okay.
And most students, they just try to crank up the time spent. Long, often distracted hours. But these top students, they figured out how to maximize the intensity.
So they get more done faster because they're actually focused.
Precisely. Think about it. 10 hours of kind of half-hearted, distracted, studying pseudo-work, he calls it, might get you the same result as maybe 3 super-focused 1-hour bursts.
3 hours sounds way better than 10, yeah.
Definitely. So step 1 is really getting that efficiency mindset, spotting and ditching that low-intensity pseudo-work.
Okay, so how do they manage their time to even create those focus bursts? Is it some complex system?
Surprisingly, no. It starts with something super simple they call manage your time in 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes, really? For juggling classes, assignments, everything? That sounds almost too easy.
That's the beauty of it. It's not about this rigid, detailed schedule you'll never follow. All you need is a calendar and just a basic sheet of paper split into 2 columns. Today's schedule and things to remember.
And the routine is quick, like first thing in the morning.
Exactly. It takes maybe 3 to 5 minutes. You glance at your calendar for the fixed stuff, classes, meetings, whatever. Then you dump everything else buzzing around in your head onto that things to remember list.
Get it out of your head.
Yeah. Then you just sketch out a rough plan for the day under today's schedule, blocking out time for study tasks, meals, breaks, that kind of thing. It's not set in stone.
Why does that simple sketch work so well?
Well, the big insight is that most students just wildly overestimate how much free time they actually have. You look at, say, a 12-hour block and think, plenty of time.
Forgetting about travel, eating, needing a break.
Exactly. All those little things eat up time. So you put off the hard stuff, thinking you'll do it later,
Yeah.
and then suddenly it's 10 p.m. and you've done nothing and you panic.
Uh-huh. Been there. Definitely been there.
This quick daily sketch, it forces you to be realistic. You see the blocks of time, you see what fits. It helps avoid that procrastination trap. And you just refer to the list during the day, adjust it as needed. Life happens.
Right. Student life is unpredictable.
Totally. But having the plan keeps you on track. Even hitting most of your tasks, say 5 out of 7 days, that's productive. That's a win.
And that things to remember column, that feels like a game changer for just mental clutter.
It really is. Any stray thought, email Professor Smith, get Dad's birthday gift, look up that econ concept, just jot it down there immediately.
So it's not constantly circling in your brain while you're trying to study.
Exactly. It frees up your mental bandwidth. You stop that background worrying about forgetting things. You can actually focus on the task at hand, whether it's studying or relaxing.
And you don't have to act on those reminders right away.
Nope. You just capture them. Then, the next morning, during your 5-minute planning session, you look at that list and decide when to schedule those items, maybe later that week, maybe add them to your calendar.
So it's like an external hard drive for your brain.
The Stephen case study in the book really shows this, how he carries over tasks, adds new things like call home, and then just maps out his Monday. Even when something unexpected comes up, like a group study session, he can adapt because the framework is there.
Precisely. It's flexible, but it stops that feeling of just drowning in stuff you need to do.
Okay, time management is key.
Mm.
But what about procrastination? The big one, the thing everyone struggles with. Ah, yes, the elephant in the room. What Newport found was kind of counterintuitive. These straight-A students, they don't necessarily claim they've, defeated procrastination entirely.
Wait, really? They still feel the urge to put things off? That's kind of comforting,
Oh,
actually.
yeah. Especially for tasks that are just, unpleasant or boring. Their skill isn't eliminating that feeling. It's having specific plans, procrastination battle plans, ready to go to sidestep the urge when it hits.
Okay, I need these battle plans. Give me one. What do they do when that feeling starts creeping in?
All right, battle plan #2 is called Feed the Machine. It's based on a simple idea. Low energy is basically fuel for procrastination.
Makes sense. When you're tired or hungry, everything feels harder.
Exactly. So the tactics are all about physical maintenance. Simple stuff. Drink water constantly. One student, Greta, even said the frequent bathroom trips helped keep her awake.
Huh. Okay.
Monitor caffeine carefully, enough to help focus, but not so much you get jittery and anxious.
And food. Treating it like actual fuel.
Spot on. Focusing on healthy snacks, fruits, veggies, nuts, protein. Avoiding the sugary stuff and refined carbs that lead to energy crashes later. And a big one, don't skip meals. Hunger or low blood sugar. They absolutely kill your concentration and make it so much easier to just give up and scroll social media instead.
Okay, fuel the machine. What about those tasks that feel truly awful? Like the ones you just dread starting no matter how much water you drink.
Ah, yes. For those, there's battle plan #3. Make an event out of the worst tasks.
This one's pretty clever.
An event, like put on a party hat.
Huh? Not quite. The idea is you physically change your location specifically for that dreaded task. You turn the act of starting it into a dedicated event.
So go somewhere different.
Somewhere out of the way. Cafe you don't normally go to, maybe across town. A quiet corner of the public library, not the campus one. Somewhere that feels distinct from your usual routine.
What?
You set a specific time. Okay, 2 p.m., I'm going to that cafe just to tackle this awful chapter. Some students even told friends, adding a little accountability. And why does this work? What's the psychology?
Well, a student named Sean put it well. The novelty and the distance kind of signal to your brain, okay, it's work time now. You're away from your usual easy distractions, your TV, your snacks, your roommates.
Right, the temptation isn't right there.
And being in public adds a subtle pressure. You don't want to be the person just sitting there staring into space. You feel like you should be doing the thing you came there to do.
You've created a dedicated zone just for tackling that one hard thing.
Exactly. And this ties into their overall approach to study timing and location, too.
Right, you mentioned they study early.
Generally, yeah. Mostly between waking up and dinner. One student, Simon, found that even though it felt weird at first, his brain was just sharper during the day. Trying to tackle hard stuff late at night when you're tired. Much less effective.
Avoid the late-night panic sessions.
Try to, yes. And where they study is crucial. Isolation. Finding spots away from the main social areas or crowded library tables.
Greta again, right. In the dorms, no one is studying.
Because they aren't.
Exactly. Dorms and busy spots are full of distractions and temptations, so they seek out the quieter corners, upper or lower library floors, small departmental libraries, those hole-in-the-wall cafes, even local public libraries off campus.
And having a few different spots is good, not just one bunker.
Yeah, helps keep things fresh, and it's convenient depending on where your classes are. Doris mentioned that. The isolation is key, though. It shields you from that procrastination devil, cuts off easy escapes.
It creates a different mindset, too.
Yeah.
Studying in a dedicated spot versus, trying to work in bed.
Totally. Christine from Harvard said studying in bed has never worked. The dedicated spot has a certain seriousness. Some students even used earplugs or would travel a bit further for really intense focus sessions.
Okay, so we've got time, energy, location. What about preparing for the big exams? How do they approach that?
Well, first, they completely reframe what studying even means. It's not supposed to be this painful all-night cram session where you're learning stuff for the first time.
If you're pulling all-nighters, you probably messed up earlier. Basically, yeah. If you've kept up reasonably well with notes and assignments, then studying for an exam becomes more of a targeted review. It's about reinforcing and organizing stuff you've already encountered.
Okay, so not learning from scratch. It's review. How do they structure that review?
It's generally a two-step process. Step 1, organize all the material. Step 2, perform that targeted review using active recall.
Let's start with organizing. How do you organize mountains of notes, especially for like history or literature classes?
For those non-technical courses, they build a study guide. Pretty straightforward. Gather all your lecture notes, reading notes, printouts, then physically sort them by topic or theme into logical chapters.
Like Julie's history example, she just made 6 piles from all her notes, one for each main topic.
Exactly. Label them, maybe you could clip them together, make it manageable. For technical courses, math, science, engineering, it's build mega problem sets.
Okay, what does that involve?
You combine problems from your weekly homework, examples you work through in class, maybe sample problems from the textbook. But here's a key addition. You also write down technical explanation questions.
Like, why does this formula work, not just how do I use it?
Precisely. It forces you to understand the concepts, not just memorize steps. And if you have practice exams, you fold those in too. Michael's math prep is a good example, making big sets covering weekly material, adding those why questions.
And what about stuff you just have to memorize? Formulas, dates, vocab.
Flashcards. Sounds basic, maybe a bit old school, but almost all the students interviewed used them for rote memorization. Prompt on one side, answer on the other.
The key is starting early with those, right? Not the night before.
Definitely. Give yourself at least a week. Making them takes time, but it's kind of mindless work you can do in chunks, maybe while watching TV or commuting, like Melanie mentioned.
Okay, so materials organized, study guide, or mega problem set, flashcards ready. Now the actual review, you mentioned active recall. What is the quiz and recall method?
This is critical. It's the opposite of passive rereading, which research shows is pretty ineffective. Active recall means forcing your brain to retrieve the information without looking at the answers.
So for the non-technical study guide you built,
You go through it section by section. Cover up your notes or the answers. Ask yourself the key questions for that section. Can you explain the main points? If you can't, you mark it.
and then you review just the marked stuff.
Exactly. You focus your energy on the areas where you're weak. Then you repeat the process quiz yourself again on the marked items, review if needed. You keep doing passes until you can easily recall everything in that section. Some students, like Warrisome, found writing out the answers helps solidify it.
Like Julie did with her history quizzes, mastering them over the week, focusing on the tricky bits.
Right. And for the technical mega problem sets, same principle. You attempt the problems from scratch on a separate sheet of paper, writing out the steps. For those explanation questions you added, articulate the answer aloud, like you're teaching it to someone.
Talking to yourself, basically.
Yeah, pacing around the room, explaining the concept. Mark any problems or explanations that felt shaky or you couldn't quite nail. Then, you do more passes, focusing specifically on those marked items until you can solve and explain them confidently. And you have to be honest with yourself, do you really understand it, or did you just memorize the steps for that problem?
That's a key difference. Michael's math prep involved exactly that. Working problems, lecturing aloud, multiple passes focusing on the hard stuff.
And if practice exams are available, after you've done this quiz and recall on your own material, you use them as a final check. Time conditions, see how you do. But it's a final check, not the main study method.
And the flashcards, just drilling over time.
Yep. Sustained effort, spread out, maybe an hour here, an hour there, in those little gaps in your day, waiting for class, on the bus, eating lunch, whenever you have a spare moment and then some mental energy.
Okay, organized, reviewed actively. But what if, despite all that, there's still a concept that's just fuzzy? Something you never really grasp?
That's where step #5 comes in. Academic disaster insurance. The whole point is to eliminate those confusing question marks before you even start that final, intense review phase.
Don't save the confusion for the last minute.
Exactly. Robert from Brown really emphasized needing at least a vague understanding of everything that might be on the test before study week, trying to learn complex ideas from scratch under pressure. That's inefficient and stressful.
So how do you proactively kill those question marks?
Several ways. Ask questions in class. Write when you're confused. Don't wait. Professors usually appreciate it, like Warrisome found.
Or office hours?
Definitely. Go see the professor or TA, but come with specific questions. Jason from Penn was big on this. I understand X, but I'm stuck on Y.
Talk to classmates, too.
For sure. Smart friends, study groups, sometimes another student's explanation just clicks. And check other resources, the textbook, reputable online sources after class to solidify your understanding.
And the crucial part, actually update your notes once you get the clarification.
Yes. Don't just nod and then forget. Fix the notes immediately. And remember, this isn't about being annoying or brown-nosing. It's just smart. Clearing up confusion early saves so much pain later. Michael, before his math exam, saw question marks on certain topics in his notes and just emailed a friend right away to get help. Tackled it head-on.
Okay, preparation is solid, confusion is cleared. Now it's actual test day. How do you make sure all that prep translates into points without falling into common traps like running out of time?
Right, that's step #6. Provide A-plus answers. It's about test-taking strategy. You can know the material but still mess up the execution.
Time management on the test itself.
First thing, scan the whole test. Get the lay of the land. Then quickly estimate how much time you can spend per section or question, always leaving yourself a buffer, maybe 10 minutes at the end.
The safety net.
Exactly. And here's a key tactic. Answer questions in order of increasing difficulty.
Start with the easy ones, not the big point ones.
Start easy. Build confidence. Bank those points quickly. Get warmed up. Then tackle the harder, more time-consuming ones. You avoid getting bogged down and panicked right at the start on a question you might not even finish.
Okay, that makes sense. What about essays on tests?
Outline first. Before you write a single sentence, reread the prompt carefully. Identify all the parts. Often there are multiple mini-questions hidden in one prompt. Then jot down a quick outline in the margin, just keywords for your main points. Matthew from Brown stressed how vital this was for making sure he actually answered everything the question asked.
And it gives you structure, stops you from rambling.
Precisely. Keeps your argument focused and complete. Then, you use that 10-minute buffer at the end to check everything. Look for silly calculation errors, missed words, unclear sentences. Those little things can cost points.
All right, exams handled. Let's tackle the last major hurdle, writing papers. This feels like where a lot of the real agony happens for students.
Oh, definitely. And the common mistake Newport found is treating it like one massive, messy process. You're trying to research, figure out your argument, and write perfect sentences all at the same time.
Yeah, switching between finding quotes, thinking, writing. It's slow and painful.
Exactly. You get stuck in this cycle, the straight A approach. Break. Down. Separate the steps completely. First, just focus on research. Then stop researching and focus only on crafting your argument and building a really detailed outline. Only after that do you actually sit down and write.
And the writing part becomes easier then.
Much easier. Like Anna said, once the structure and argument are clear, the paper writes itself, or at least it feels much less like pulling teeth.
Okay, the book distinguishes between research papers and critical analysis essays, right?
Yeah, research papers are usually longer. You're digging into sources to develop and prove your own original thesis. Critical analysis essays are often shorter, focused on analyzing assigned readings to answer a specific prompt. They might be shorter, but they demand real precision.
Got it. So there's an 8-step process for papers. Step 1, target a titillating topic for research papers. Find something you're genuinely interested in early on.
Yeah, that interest carries you through, like Mindy deciding to connect those two painters, Alston and Friedrich. She was curious.
Step 2, conduct a thesis hunting expedition. For essays, it's about refining your answer to the prompt. But for research papers, finding that core argument. Where do you look?
This is a great tip. Start broad, maybe with general sources. But the real gold is in their bibliographies. Follow the footnotes. As David put it, it's all about the bibliographies. They lead you to the more specialized articles and books where the really interesting, nuanced arguments are usually hiding.
So you use library tools, databases like JSTOR.
Right, and Google, but carefully mainly, to find leads to credible academic sources, not to cite Wikipedia. Mindy's search for the Alston-Friedrich link is a perfect example. A book led her to Coleridge. Then searching Coleridge and Friedrich in a journal database led her to the article that sparked her thesis Coleridge as a connection.
And what makes a good thesis?
Provocative, nuanced, clear, complex enough to be interesting. As Wendy said, it's the most important part. It's the central claim your whole paper exists to support.
And it's okay if it changes a bit as you learn more.
Oh, absolutely. Your initial thesis is just a starting point, a promising direction. The early research helps confirm if that kind of argument seems possible with the evidence out there.
Step 3, seek a second opinion. Talk about your idea before diving deep. Saves wasted effort.
Yes. Run your thesis idea by your professor. Riel found this super helpful. Professors can offer quick feedback, suggest sources, and talk to smart classmates if allowed. Explaining your idea helps clarify for yourself, too.
Step 4, research like a machine for research papers. Once you have a direction, research systematically. Avoid getting lost or endlessly looping.
The system is simple. Find sources, Make personal copies and annotate them if you have enough evidence. If not, find more sources.
Making physical copies, photocopies, printouts seems key here.
It really is. They're portable, you own them, and you can annotate them to death, as Christine put it. Underline, highlight, write summaries in the margins, make notes. Absolutely crucial. And copy the bibliographies from those too.
Step 5. Craft a powerful story. Okay, you have the annotated research. Now you organize it into a coherent argument. This is the thinking part, not just collecting.
Exactly. This might involve taking walks just to think, mulling over connections, explaining the argument out loud. Mindy physically sorted her annotated papers into piles based on the different parts of her argument.
And then comes the detailed outline, not just a few bullet points.
Right, a topic-level outline that's pretty granular. Christine found this outline-based writing leads to much clearer papers because you've already figured out the flow and structure. You can shuffle points easily in the outline stage. Robert mentioned it saves you from constantly digging through your sources while trying to write sentences. You can even slot key quotes into the outline.
Step 6. Consult your expert panel. Again, show the outline to your professor and friends.
Yep. Quick check, big payoff. Getting feedback on the structure before writing hundreds or thousands of words can save massive revision headaches. Mindy did this with her outline.
Step 7. Write without the agony. Okay, now you're right. And because of all the prep, it should be less agonizing.
Hopefully. The focus now is just clear communication, translating your detailed outline into prose. As Chris said, you just build from that.
Any tips for the actual writing phase?
Write in isolation, minimize distractions, Suzanne recommended this, and try not to write and edit on the same day, Jeremy's advice. Let it sit before you critique it. Write when you have energy.
Finally, step 8, don't fixate. Editing is vital, but don't get lost in endless minor tweaks. The grammar psycho mode.
Right, they use an efficient 3-passes system for editing.
Pass 1.
Argument adjustment pass. Read through, focusing on the big picture. Does the argument flow logically? Is the structure sound? Are there major gaps or unclear sections? Do this when you're fresh.
Pass 2.
The out loud pass. Print it out. Read every single word aloud, slowly and clearly. Your ear will catch awkward phrasing, grammatical errors, typos that your eyes skimmed over on the screen. Mark the printout, then make the changes. Both Robert and Melanie swore by this.
And pass 3.
The sanity pass. One last, quick read-through of the corrected printout. Catches any stray errors you might have introduced while fixing things, and it gives you that final sense of closure and confidence. Like, okay, it's done and it's good.
Wow. Okay, so putting this all together, it's really a paradigm shift, isn't it? It's not about being born smarter or just working yourself into the ground.
Not at all. What these successful students demonstrate is that academic achievement, even at the highest levels, is often about mastering these skills, these efficient strategies. It's about process, not just raw talent or brute force hours.
We talked about that simple 5-minute time management, the procrastination battle plans like feeding the machine or making an event, the smart exam prep focusing on organizing and active recall.
Tackling confusion head-on with that academic disaster insurance, getting feedback, and breaking down daunting tasks like paper writing into manageable sequential steps.
And the payoff isn't just better grades, although that's obviously a big part of it. It's about gaining a deeper understanding, feeling less stressed, and actually freeing up more time for other parts of life because you're working efficiently.
Exactly. It truly embodies that idea of working smarter, not just longer or harder.
Which leads to a final thought for you, listening in. Thinking about all these unconventional strategies, a 5-minute plan, the quiz and recall, the paper writing steps, which one resonates most with you right now? What feels like something you could actually use?
And maybe even more pointedly, what's one small, concrete step you could take, maybe even this week, to just try one of these ideas out?